All right, guys, what's going on? How you doing, fellow zombies? 5:16 in the evening, Tuesday, the 20th of May, 2025. The zombie Weaver John C. of Roseman, California, is here. But not to mention doing the diary of the griever named John Weaver, which is also here. And it's me. Anyway, go for the tight price of one, I think. Okay, trying to stay the hell away from all the damn yipping and yapping from everybody else these days. There was a shout out to somebody who was going through to mention about their loss of a loved one. So I had to do a long letter on that one. The other things happening right now in our little corner of the world. Well, I've been hearing stories about more people trying to move into our town, but we still haven't got enough room out here. Not even in the apartment complex I live in. Uh, all right. I do this from time to time, and I'm going to do it to everybody, okay? So please turn out your computers and your laptops, put them onto the map app that you're using. When you put it in there, type in Antelope Valley, California. Oh, wait. My mama is at the other situation again. End of class session's coming up in about several days. I got to get an essay written up and put in there. This is about 3 to 4 pages, so I got more material needs to be written up on that and stuff. So yeah, I'm getting out of for this particular semester, finishing it up, taking a summer off, and then getting back into the whole thing again. I hope, and see what happens. This time, trying to kill myself online by taking 3 classes if I can. Usually one class because I can do that and take care of her at the same damn time. We'll see what happens. If I can keep him, I keep him. So you've got Antelope Valley, California, do you? You got the wedge. You got the wedge. Okay. Now, can we look at Roseman, California? Yeah, it's the little monkey meat up there on the top portion right next to Edwards Air Force Base on the west side of it. Oh, wait. Scroll up where it says the 14th Freeway and Roseman Boulevard, guys. Keep that in your center. So on the far right is the city or the town's limit on where we have habitation. Of course, there's a uh, apartment complex that's right on the edge of federal and state, well, county anyway. And beyond that, it would be Edwards Air Force Base. I'm on the extreme, just about. From that area, with all this nice, lovely habitation. And then you see over at 14 Freeway, and then you see the other habitation on this one. Nothing changed. Except we have housing units still trying to get people in there. But is there, can I bring this up, guys? Any logistic issues that you might see? This is about 20K to 25K of population size. According to the last time we actually had the census back in the 2020. A few more years, we're going to have another one. So, and housing's still slow, but we still got new stuff built up already. If I widen the shot, then I just look at the whole town. You know, it's kind of sporadic here and sporadic there. We have solar panels on the far west end of our area here. We have some solar panels and some kind of um, factory manufacturing happening up in the northern area between Mojave and Roseman. And yes, you hear the constant whining of my dog because she wants attention right now. She must be obeyed. Okay, there's a reason why I put this out because I want you guys to look at something. Okay, you see the sporadic nature of our town. How many places do you see that has commercial development having retail elements? How many places do we have stores, man? Not that many. Well, that maybe smaller mom and pops along the way. Maybe if there is a neighborhood that actually has retail in there somewhere mentioned, or commercial. We have very few restaurants, but we do. They're scattered about. And I put the restaurant label on there. I'm going to mention a lot of stores that we have for restaurants. Majors we have is Guido Hangar. It's Italian. Coach's Sports Bar. You know, got cooking. It's got Italian in there too. Not much Mexican. American style food. Grub. Ramon's Mexican restaurant. It's cool. We want good grub for Mexican. Smaller ones, we got El Chulo Burger. Well, it's not that anymore. They called it something else. But it's still a nice small choke and puke. Actually, I think it's still there. Roberto's Mexican food. It's also right along... where was it? Ramon's? Okay, Ramon's right next to us. Roberto's down the street on Rosemont Boulevard. Thai Garden. Oriental. Las Margarita Cantina and Cantina. Cantina, actually. I know, slaughtered that one. My bad. Snack Zone. Tacos Solano. I don't know what that is. Foster Freeze. Well, we've got some places out here to order, choke, and puke. The old trucker terminology when it comes down for restaurants. You want to stop, have a bite, not throw up. The one that they hadn't put out here was how many stores we have. Okay, so how many stores do we have, guys? Well, let me show you something. Let me show you something what we've got here. Now, we got population building up, right? You're supposed to have like a centralized and maybe another area of stores that could bring regular groceries to people, right? Not in our town. We got one area. One. Right by the 14 freeway and Rosemont Boulevard, guys. Let's head back there. Because now you're seeing Albertsons, the only major supermarket chain we have out here. The only one. But we have grocery outlet that can try to give secondhand stuff. But we also have a few other Family Dollar, Dollar General, Dollar Family, whatever kind of stores they would call themselves. It's sporadic. Not as grocery, but it's good for cheap stuff, for cheap meals left and right. But the major we have is the Albertsons. And from people I'm talking to who are going over there all the time, we're getting hit with so much shortage, it's just not even funny. The population's coming in, and we've got more people giving them business, but we're not getting supplied enough to keep the business and revenues going. And it's the only major chain we've got out there regarding groceries. Trying to get bananas? Regular Dole bananas, maybe from Honduras. Nope. Has to be locally organic, and they charge. As for other greenery, well, they got a problem because that's also getting disappeared left and right. So they're having a hard time with the population influx we have in our town. It's wonderful for business, but if we actually had other businesses out there to help supplement it, this is what we got. I wish we had another store out here in the East End, but we don't. I'll show you my territory, okay? Now, this is the west side of town, right on the west side of the 14 freeway. A long time ago, my mother and my grandmother would call it the other side of the tracks. Well, I'm going to show you what the other side of the tracks is, okay? If you put the 14 freeway into Rosemont Boulevard center stage, right in the middle, you'll see the little clover, that little loop there. Widen the shot a little bit. You see the school right hand side, elementary. Okay. Keep scrolling it slowly where you see in the freeway just heading to the left. You're scratching your heads on this one. I know you are. Keep this in mind that you're looking at both commercial and residential area crammed into a small town. When you have the 14 freeway on your furthest edge of the map, stop right there. The far right hand side, you'll see the Sierra Highway and also the railroad. Welcome to the other side of the tracks, almost just about there. This town is old. It's about older than I am, just about. Grew up because of Edwards Air Force Base, used to be called Muroc Air Base. They were a flight testing, training, during World War II, and then they started developing rocket engines. Became a hotbed. They needed places to be in. They needed trailer homes. But after that, when the base really got established doing what it's doing, we needed to have longer term homes, family homes, apartments. So it expanded throughout the years. Well, not quite when it came down for grocery runs, that's for damn sure. Along Roseman Boulevard, we've got smaller stores. Said before about the dollar and the family stuff. Yeah, they're sporadic. They're sporadic. Up and down Sierra, across the street from the railroad. There's a street called Diamond Street. At one time, it was the major commercial hub before we had the hub out there right next to the 14 freeway. And up and down Diamond Street, you'd be able to get whatever you want. They had a small Carnicia there. Still do. Deal with meat, deal with smaller items, much like a Dollar General, except they deal with a little bit more meat. Haven't been there in a while. And stores and restaurants change every 5 or 6 years. We may have one lasting longer than 5 or 10 years, or longer than that. Used to be a place called Wayside Cafe that every trucker knew, because it was the best place to get chow up in this territory. They closed down a long time ago. Management different, so it's a different ownership now, different name for it. You widen the shot. You see how much people we have scrammed in here? Smaller mom and pop shops are just not enough to keep supplying people left and right. We even have a liquor store, a few places along Sierra Highway. But we also have a mini mart on the far end of town, on the east end. And it's not the greatest, but you get your primary, you get your rice, you get your water, you get your milk, you get your butter, you get whatever kind of alcohol you want. But we generally don't have a big enough store out there. It's small. It does business, but sometimes I wish it could have done more, but it doesn't have the room for it. We have a Mexican restaurant out there. We have a Cantonese place out there. We even coming across with a fried chicken place out there. That would be nice. I'm dealing with the fried chicken over at the store all the time, so I'm kind of used to that stuff, but we're theoretically going to be having it over here. It would have been nice if we actually had a hamburger hot dog place over here, or maybe other restaurants. We've got about 3 or 4 pizza joints in this whole town. But this is what we consider for food. If we really wanted to do any shopping at this point, I mean seriously shopping, we'd either have to go up to Mojave, which they're sending people down here because I guess Staples, or actually Stater Brothers is having issues up in Mojave. And they're the only major grocery place up in that area. Let me show you that one for Roseman. I mean, not for Roseman, but for Mojave. 14 freeway is going to be your guideline, so it goes all the way north. So widen the shot. So where you see Roseman shrinking down a bit, head up to 14 freeway. You'll see some landscape out there. Now this is all Kern County, by the way. From Avenue A all the way up north until whenever. It's all Kern territory. You'll see Mojave Air and Spaceport. Well, that's your landmark, not to mention the freeways being connected into it. 14's got a 58 freeway hooked into it, which goes through to Tehachapi. That's your truck route right there. We'll look at Tehachapi in a couple of seconds, but look at Mojave. Not as compact or crazy as Roseman, right? Squeezed. And yet in this particular place, we're supposed to have Stater Brothers. The only major shopping center we've got in that area is in the northern region. Why can't we get any more shopping centers instead of all these mom and pop places? I mean, we do need the mom and pop places. Don't get me wrong, it adds to the culture and flavor to the whole town. But out here we're talking about, you blink, you miss it, and you're wondering what the hell you're doing up there in the first place. But a lot of people that grew up here in Mojave, they have their own little junior high, elementary, and so do we. Their own high school. But Stater Brothers is the only market they have over there, and it's also expensive as hell. They got about 15, maybe. 15K. Maybe less. We got a little bit more out here in Roseman. Now, I did say about Tehachapi, right? 58 freeway goes directly through the canyon areas. Through Monolith, and then you see some, and then you see the scattered area of Tehachapi. Also about 15. Because they're combined, they're squeezed in there. Tehachapi is one of those truck driving areas that one would go through. But it is a major route that we have, going right into Bakersfield. Central Cali. Back in the wedge-shaped area, where we're north, how about we're south? What the hell is she doing? Don't worry about that dog of mine. She wants crunchy, so she can't stand some of the stuff she's eating. Especially she's not eating the water. It's alright, she'll need it. Just have to keep an eye on her. We have Lancaster, we have Palmdale, Little Rock, Quartz Hills, Enoch. Well, we've got major places out here, not to mention on the far west end, towards the Arrowhead. To the spreading area, yeah, we've got San Bernardino running into, and we also have several communities, large-scale communities out there. Alpha Valley, Hesperia. Lancaster, they have, and so does Palmdale, major hubs when it comes down for food distribution, retail. We have several areas all over the place. So people would drive away from Roseman, get down to Lancaster and Palmdale, do their shopping, and come right back. This is what we're dealing with, guys. If we're getting overpopulated, I'll tell you one more thing about this apartment complex here. We still have no ownership. Property management still collecting rent, and we don't have anybody else coming into the place because we don't have an owner to keep supplying the money for the property management to keep this place running. That being said on that one, I still have to hold on to this place. Bugs and all. But if you guys have been watching my videos, you know about that one. So, my story for right now, what I'm dealing with. I used to live in Palmdale. I used to live in Lancaster. I moved out there from the San Fernando Valley. And if you guys know Southern California, you know that Southern California is compact, and you know the rest of California Southern California is squeezed. 38 years I lived in the San Fernando Valley. You talk about knowing your neighborhoods? Oh, yeah. You know about which areas are commercial and not? Yeah, you know it. You see it. So we actually have. So, all right. That being said, guys.